Pork Vindaloo is one of those dishes that when I first took a bite of it, it changed my culinary perspective in life. It is sweet, it is spicy, it is a combination of everything good in life, and I am so excited to be sharing it with you. Hi everyone, I am Maneet Chauhan and this is Maneet's Eats, where I break down how to make the best Indian dishes from the market to the dinner table. Before we head to the market, make sure you subscribe to Food Network's YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of Maneet's Eats. We are here at a local Indian market shopping for pork vindaloo. Now, one of the main spices in the pork vindaloo is a Kashmiri dried chili. Now, Kashmiri dried chili has this smoky, pungent flavor to it, which just gives an oomph to the pork vindaloo. I am going to be buying whole chilies because we'll be dry roasting it and then blending it. But you do get Kashmiri chili powder also in any Indian store. Before we head to the kitchen to cook our pork vindaloo, we need one more ingredient: tamarind. Now, tamarind in its natural form looks like this. At a store, you will get either a tamarind block, which you have to soak in hot water, let it sit for some time and then strain it. Or for the ease of cooking, there is tamarind paste. This is something which is really tart, fruity, and it adds that much needed tanginess that you need in a pork vindaloo. Pork vindaloo comes from western coastal region of India called Goa. Goa was occupied by the Portuguese. Pork was something which was not consumed very much in India till that time. Also, the use of vinegar, which is not seen much in Indian cooking, is seen in the pork vindaloo. So for pork vindaloo, I like to use boneless pork shoulder. Pork shoulder has a lot of marbling in it, and the fat that you get from the marbling really adds to the lusciousness of the final dish. Before we start breaking this pork down, let's go ahead and make a quick marinade for this. We're going to start off with some ginger garlic paste. Ginger garlic paste is equal parts of ginger and garlic, which have been blended with a little bit of water. To this, I am going to add some curry leaves. These curry leaves are available at any Indian store. It has a very distinctive woody flavor to it. Curry leaf has nothing to do with curry powder, and curry powder has nothing to do with Indian cuisine, because there's nothing known as curry powder in authentic Indian cuisine. It's just a blend of spices which people have made to give it a Indian nod. Here goes in the curry leaves, some salt to this, and some pepper. Now, I'm going to be very generous with the amount of pepper that I'm adding to it, because this dish is all about the layers of flavors that you are adding. So it starts with the marinade. You see the pork right over here? There is the fat cap. Keep it. You want that flavor. You want that fat. I'm going to be cutting this into small cubes around 1 inch by 1 inch. I mean, look at the marbling on this pork. It is so beautiful. Now, the fun part about this recipe is that if you don't want to eat pork and you want to have some other protein, be it chicken, beef, even vegetables, just follow the recipe, replace the pork with whatever protein that you want. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mix everything together. So when we are marinating proteins, what I like to do is I like to marinate it for at least 4 hours. Overnight is even better. Okay, now that this is marinated well, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator for around 4 hours. Now that my hands are clean, we are going to do the next step, which is onions and garlic. So just take a garlic and start slicing it into really thin slices. In the end of the day, this garlic is going to be blended. But the reason why I am slicing it is because as I slice the garlic, there is more surface area, there is more of that garlicky flavor which is released into the sauce. So once your garlic is done, let's go ahead and cut the onions. We are just slicing the onions. Cut the tops and the bottoms, and then we'll go ahead and slice it. Next, we are going to cook down the onions and the garlic. We'll start off with some ghee in a pot. We'll add the garlic. Some onions go in. So now I'm going to add a little bit of salt and sugar to this. And now I'm going to wait for it to start becoming golden brown. So we're going to wait for this to cook down. It'll take around 7 to 8 minutes. Next, we're going to go ahead and start toasting our spices. Right here, we have some green cardamom, black peppercorn, cumin seeds, coriander seeds, fenugreek seeds, mustard seeds, and Kashmiri chili. There's going to be a touch of cinnamon in this. Now, all of these spices, they play a particular function in the flavor profile of the vindaloo. There is the sweetness from the cardamom, there is the spice from the black pepper, smokiness from the cumin, grassiness from the coriander seeds, bitterness from fenugreek, and the sharpness from the mustard seeds. The Kashmiri chili will, of course, add some of the heat to it. Now, if you can't find Kashmiri chili, chili the arbol also works, but Kashmiri chili is fairly easy to find. Before we put this in for toasting, we're going to remove the stem. And I will not remove the seeds because I want that heat which comes from the seeds. Next, I'm going to add some cinnamon powder right over here. Now that I have all my spices in together, that's the time that I'm going to turn on the heat. This is going to ensure that there is equal distribution of heat through all the spices. When I'm toasting spices, what I am looking for is the color to start turning slightly brown. But most importantly, what I am looking out for is the aroma, the smells of toasting spices. So our onions are good to go. Our spices are almost toasted. Now I'm going to grab the blender. We'll go ahead and put our toasted spices in the blender. Put the onions and the garlic. Now in this goes some brown sugar and coconut vinegar. So this is what you are looking for, a paste where all the onions, the garlic, along with the spices have been blended together. It smells so good. Now let's go ahead and grab the pork. So now we're going to go ahead and start cooking the pork vindaloo. I'm going to use the same pot because we've already sauteed the onion and the garlic in it, so it already has flavor. I'm going to go ahead and add some ghee. And once the ghee starts melting and starts getting hot, I am going to add the marinated pork mix to this. So we're going to let the pork sear slightly on the outside before we go ahead and put the rest of the ingredients. As you can see, this started browning, and now we will add the rest of the ingredients and start the braising process. So now I'm going to add the vindaloo masala paste to this. Add some tomato puree and tamarind paste to this. Tamarind is a tropical fruit which has this really tart flavor to it and is used extensively in South Asian cooking to add tartness to any dish. This works very well with the coconut vinegar because the coconut vinegar also has some tartness to it. So just that combination. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some water to this. Once the water is added, I will reduce the flame to a really low setting and let this slowly simmer. This is going to take around 45 minutes or so to cook, and for the pork to slowly start breaking down. So this has been braising around for 45 minutes. Oh, this smells so good. One of the best accompaniments with pork vindaloo is just plain basmati rice. The vindaloo in itself has so much flavor to it that eating something else along with it would just be fighting with the flavors. Generous amount of the pork vindaloo, the lot of the sauce. Here it is, pork vindaloo. This is such a symphony of flavor. Each and every flavor bud in your mouth is being touched by this delicious pork vindaloo. You get the sweetness from the sugar that we added to this. Also the caramelized onions. There is the garlic sharpness you get. There is a little bit of bitterness which balances off the tartness which is in the dish. The fat from the pork adds to the lusciousness of this dish. Sweet, spicy, tart, smoky. You think of a flavor profile and it is in this dish. Absolutely amazing. I hope you try making vindaloo at home. If you make this recipe, leave a comment and let me know how it turned out. And don't forget to subscribe to Food Network's YouTube channel for more of Maneet's Eats. See you next time.